Okay, so dear Dharma practitioners, be comfortable yourself and relax your body and keep your back straight, neck head straight in one line and your right palm on your left. So gently close your eyes and bring attention to this bell sound. And while you're focusing to the sound, mentally relax your body, relax your mind and relax your breathing with your thoughts. So do nothing extra. Just follow the sound, please. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Homage to the Blessed One, the Exalted One, the fully enlightened One. So dear Dhamma practitioners, before we start our practice session, as usual, we'll take few minutes from the beginning to understand how this practice can lead us to wisdom. And that wisdom, even in this conventional life, as ordinary people, how we can use it and what are the benefit we can gain out of it. And at the same time, how this life can lead us to ultimate wisdom. So when it comes to happiness, it has many versions. We all are in conventional level looking for happiness and satisfaction. But if you look very carefully, of course, we have some kind of happiness, but that all depend on certain kind of conditions. So if you are following versions, and if you are trying to gain the happiness from different activities, so there's no end. Because certain kind of versions can bring certain kind of happiness. So as you know, these machines, computers, cell phones, it's kind of like softwares. They have softwares. And that software sometimes has versions. So some kind of version not help for another things. So that's why we upgrade. So when you get into the latest version, you are capable to merge with the latest level of activities. But sometimes this latest version not going to help for us to gain certain things depend from the old version. So if you look at very carefully from the past, so whatever the happiness and satisfaction you had, you may not going to gain today because it is a latest version that you have in this world. And maybe even though you want it, maybe the other things around you not going to help for that. So fundamentally, you have to understand this. If we don't understand that, what happens, as all we all are experienced, most of time we today more comfortable with this animated life. So from very little children, from cartoons and to Cinderella movies, to dramas, to elders now, these cartoons, the animated movies. And as you know, there are some movies, even though it has some kind of principles, it has some kind of philosophy, like Lion King. So there are many animated movies, became world famous. And there are a lot of people like these animated movies. And by the time our mind also start to create kind of like this animated lifestyle. So the most of time, our happiness, these versions, that the old version of happiness, we generate as animated happiness inside us, and we develop a kind of like animated life. But sometimes when it comes to the very newness of life, it is very difficult for us to let go that previous experience. But when it comes to wisdom, what is there are many ways that we explain the wisdom. So remember this, one way to explain what is wisdom: see the change. If you are capable to understand the change, you are wise. You have wisdom. So then another way, what is ignorance? If you are not capable to understand the change, you have ignorance. Period. So then you can come to life, because when it comes to our day-to-day life, sometimes it is very difficult for us to digest or absorb or accept the nature of change. Normally in our activities, we try to reasoning. That's a very conventional way of living. When things happens, sometimes we say, oh, things happen for a reason. Oh, things happen for something good. Nothing is bad, everything good. But when it comes to Dharma, one of the Korean Zen master told, always remember, good is good, bad is bad. There is no this bad things happen for good. So if it is bad, if it is bad, we are trying to bring this both together. But when it comes to the Dharma, you see the Dharma means you see the change. And another way, Dharma has many meanings. Buddha's teaching is called as Dharma. The very fundamental nature itself we call as Dharma. And what we hold into we call as Dharma. What we believe we call as Dharma. And it has many, many meanings. And another meaning is law of nature is Dharma. So then remember, when things happen, so today we are trying to change our point of reference about the Dharma. Things happen lawfully. If you are capable to understand that, you surrender to Dharma. Things never happens against the law of nature. So when things happens, so whatever that the outcome come to you, rather than taking, oh, everything happened for a reason, oh, everything happened for good. Of course, there is a reason, but what is that reason is things happens lawfully. So the law of nature, dharma, and then in day-to-day life, when things happen to you, and try to understand the law behind the incident. To understand that, you can't reason in it. You can't bring your own ideas and put it to it. You can't put your own opinions on it. You can't kind of like balance it to make it kind of like, to make it like nice. You can't head massage yourself when things happen. When things happen, if you start to recognize as a law of nature or the lawfully, and how the law of nature governs the incident, you will recognize something. So the very first thing you have to remember, with whatever that we go through, there is no somebody behind experience this, like greed, hatred, jealousy, anger, generosity, awareness, compassion. There is no someone behind you. That very itself, when you get angry, you are the anger. Don't think it's a somebody behind. Because we have this little bit cuckoo mind, it's kind of like a somebody, maybe the planets, or maybe the stars, or maybe somebody somewhere doing kind of like a black magic. That's why my mind go like this. So sometimes people think like that, cuckoo mind, it can make you crazy. But always you have to remember, that is the one of the part of this awareness. When you experience jealousy, you have to remember that jealousy is you, not somebody behind. When you feel the generosity, that generosity is you. When you feel the fear, that fear is you. So you are experiencing something with the law of nature. So if you are capable to understand that, understanding itself, the solution for that. But when you think, when you get angry, mad, disappointed, unhappy, or the happy, joy, pleasure, if you think it is there's somebody behind, then always you go for something. So to understand this, you have, through the meditation we do this, we bringing this understanding. For meditation, what is another way to explain what is the meaning of meditation? Is kind of like a mapping the mind, mapping the life, mapping the feelings, mapping the experience. So when it comes to mapping, means you can map something to travel from this place to somewhere. You use a map, and you get the help out of the, okay, from this direction we go this way, like that. That is another reason. And at the same time, to develop something. Like as example, just imagine if you want to develop a city. So the very first thing, you map it. So like you bring a blueprint and how it should be, how it going to. So the mapping is something, it has a different ways that you can map. But just imagine you discover very new land. So understanding that land is another way we call mapping. So when it comes to meditation, it's kind of like a mapping our life. You're not bringing anything, you're not adding anything, you're not trying to take anything away, you're not trying to build up anything. You try to understand its capacity. You're trying to understand its nature. So just imagine you discover very new land, and then you understand the mountain areas, the seaside, then the rivers, the paddies, so the field. So you recognize the forest and the valley, and which place good for living. So like that, you understand that. So like that, when it comes to you, when you observe yourself, your sensation, your feelings, and itself giving you this deeper understanding about what is this life. So when you're mapping, there's another skill that you can develop. So as example, when it comes to Buddha's teaching, that teachings nowadays we can see in different categories, in different field. Even when it comes to sutras, it talk about different things. So mapping means another way we bring this all the teachings, even not about only the Buddha's teaching, all other enlightened masters, all the wise people, all the gurus, all the educated people in the world, all the well-experienced masters in the world, that whatever they talk or whatever they told or whatever they are experienced, we bring together and trying to analyze the very structure of law of nature. So that is another way that you can access to deeper level of wisdom. So once you have that skill, you are not bound to any details. You are just observing. So that is another way that you develop the vipassana level of mind without becoming a bias, without just hold it to some kind of preconditioned mind. You are just become completely free from everything, but you observe and giving equal chance to each and every detail and trying to understand the law of nature of it. So in that way, your mind becomes so wider than you think. You become more open to see more deeper. So in that way, you are capable to analyze it from each and every angle. So when it comes to that, what happened? You release from all. That is one of the things that you gain a different kind of version of the happiness, because most of time, even though we have happiness holding things, grasping things, clinging things, it is a different version of happiness. But the thing is, just imagine, I can hold this cup and maybe while I'm drinking the water and holding it, it gives me kind of like a satisfaction. This holding make me comfortable, but how long I can hold in this comfortable nature? If I start to little bit increase the duration, maybe half an hour, what will happen to my hand? And 1 hour, what will happen? So nothing wrong with the cup, nothing wrong with the hand, but desire to hold and start to develop a pain. So same like that, like as you know, sometimes this rope, people hold the rope, and if you hold it tight, and sometimes the rope can burn your hand. The rope can cut your fingers. And same like this holding, grasping, clinging nature. Certain things, even though it makes us comfortable from the beginning, it brings us the pain or the cut. It burns us by the time. But if you are capable to have an open mind without grasping, clinging to any ideas, you get out of that burning process. That itself a kind of like some kind of achievement that you gain through the practice. So it is very necessary. So when you start to observe the path of the wisdom, so from the beginning I mentioned, the wisdom means understanding the change. Ignorance means not understanding the change. And what is the foundation of the wisdom? How you can get into that understanding? That understanding, that foundation is the concentration. So the wisdom is the change, see the change, get into that, you need the concentration. So in that foundation, awareness is kind of like a ladder to climb it. So that's why we practice little by little, little by little. Once you have the wisdom, what you see, truth of change. It's in everything, in every angle, in every day, with everything. Truth of change. It's not a kind of like a jigsaw puzzle. It doesn't matter you like it or no, you accept it or not. That is the law of nature. Once you understand it, and you're ready to accept it. But if you don't understand it, and you will keep struggling to make things happen the way you want, the way you want. And once you recognize the truth of change, there is another, the thing will you recognize, power of emptiness. Truth of change will take you to understand the power of emptiness. That is the ultimate power. No one can beat that. No one can overcome it. There's nothing can change that power. There is nothing can argue about it or resist emptiness. If you take any name or form in this entire universe, that whatever you take as object or as a subject, see how powerful it is. That all arise in the middle of emptiness. So truth of change, power of emptiness. And that is the ultimately we can say. So how through meditation we recognize this? In front of your nose, you have this both truth of change, power of emptiness. So observing the sensation of inhalation will take you to depth of that wisdom, arising and falling. Arising, and when you observe the very nature of the inhalation, very nature of the exhalation, and it will take you to understand the very nature of arising and falling. In everything in this universe, you can finally see arising and falling. So that whatever you experience within your body, within your form, feeling, perception, volition, recognition, arising and falling, that is the truth of nature. That is the truth of change. And why it happened? Because this all arise with the help of emptiness. This everything belongs to emptiness. The owner of this all is emptiness. So once you recognize that, you come to a point, let it be. It's very difficult for us to do that as human beings. Because we are kind of like we like to disturb, we like to interfere things. We like to always to make something happen. We have kind of like this go-getter mindset. We don't allow things to let it be. We don't like that. We always try. If you see a flower, if you see a tree, break it, cut it, trim it, you know. So if you see anything, mountain, you want to climb it. You know? If you see anything, you bring your opinions about it. But finally, it's a moment of experience we have because of law of nature. Very simple example is the rainbow. You can see it with the different colors. Beautiful. It is there. But in this entire universe, there is no such a thing you can grab, you can categorize, you can place it to one thing, you can bring this place to that place, you can maintain, you can keep the ownership to a rainbow, but it is there. Look at it. So that is the law of nature. When the necessary conditions there, it arises. So you the same, your feelings like the rainbow. Your all the emotions are like rainbow. It doesn't matter pleasant, unpleasant, it's arise because of the necessary conditions, not because another reason behind you. No. So you are itself the reason. So rather than separating you from the experience, be the experience and observe how it arising and falling. And then you will see. There is no such a thing like that. Once you understand it within yourself, you see it, you experience it, it is there, it is there. Only if necessary conditions available. If it is not, it's not there. So you and me all the same. We all here today like this because necessary conditions, they are already. When the conditions not there, it's not going to be here. So moment by moment, if you are capable to go deeper into yourself, you accept that change, you be with that emptiness. It gives you the highest level of, the highest version of the happiness. It's a kind of like a happiness pro plus, or you can name it kind of like that something. Okay, with that, let's get into practice a little bit. So your right palm on your left and neck head straight in one line and be comfortable with your posture. So bring attention to your body and scan head to toes yourself and say Swapatveva, or may I be well and happy 3 times. Take a moment and think. We gathered here in this moment to practice this ancient meditation technique. All the Buddhas, all the enlightened masters followed this path and achieved wisdom. So we also gathered here to accumulate that knowledge. In this moment with this sitting, may my body become more comfortable. May my breath be more smooth. May no difficulties come to me. May all the success come to me. Also think for a moment, this is the last moment we're spending in this very lifetime. And detach your mind from all your past memories and as well as any kind of future thoughts. Just try to remain in the present moment, observing the sensation of your inhalation and exhalation. Bring my attention to your body, please. Observe your posture. We cultivate loving kindness and compassion in our heart and radiate it as a light through entire your compound, village, city, state, country, world, around this universe. Also, as far as you can, through galaxies, other planets, stars. Reminding yourself like this. With clear intention, mentally repeat after me. May all living beings in this universe be well and happy. May everyone be happy and safe. And may their hearts be filled with joy. May all living beings live in security and in peace. Beings who are frail or strong, tall or short, big or small, visible or not visible, near or far away, already born or yet to be born. May all of them dwell in perfect tranquility. Let no one do harm to anyone. Let no one put the life of anyone in danger. Let no one out of anger or ill will wish anyone any harm. Expand the loving kindness and compassion beginning from your heart. Forward. Visualize yourself and send it as a light. Your backside. Your left side. Your right side. Downward. And upward. To all six directions at once, like the moon, the sun. Spread the light, spread the energy without any condition, without any limitation, without any resistance or without any judgment. Let your heart to shine with the loving kindness and compassion from the bottom of it, with the maximum effort to the highest. Wishing yourself, may all living beings in this universe be well and happy. Say sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. So first of all, we offer this practice to the great qualities of the Buddha, Dhamma, and the Sangha. And also by the power of this meritorious deed, may all of us attain to the supreme bliss of Nibbana. May all your guardian angels and deities will receive these merits and increase their longevity and protect all of you from any kind of planetary influences or any ill effects. Ittavata chammi sampadam punya sampadam sabbe deva numodantu sabba sampatti siddhya sabbe bhuta numodantu sabba sampatti siddhya sabbe satta numodantu sabba sampatti siddhya Imaya Dhamma Nudhamma Patipattiya Buddhang Pujemi Dhammang Pujemi Sanghang Pujemi Attaya Imaya Patipattiya Jati Jara Vyadhi Maranam Paribunjiswami Idammi Punya Kammang Asavakkaya Vanghotu Sabba Dukkha Pamuncatu. Bless you.